At least I hope we will. All right, let's see if I can figure this out. So what we're going to talk about is value add investing. And there's all kinds of different ways you can add value to a deal. To put in layman's terms, it's getting another squeeze out of the lemon. How do you do that? And there's a whole bunch of ways. And so we're going to go through some of that. And it's always the usual. It won't work here. I don't need to do it now. But we're going to go over some stuff. You like data, so we're going to look at a whole bunch of data. But before I start, big congrats to our partner fellow that isn't here tonight.
Yep.
Mr. Eric and Miss Tiffany. That's Callahan. Cute little guy. Can't wait to meet him. So congrats to them. And then congrats to Josh. He did something really, really big. He quit a perfectly paying day job. Why would you do that? Yeah, exactly. After how many years, man?
21 years of teaching and 10 years short of the full pension.
And,
They thought I was crazy when I was like, I'm going to bet on me.
and that takes some serious backbone. I remember that was me in 1999. I had a really good paying government job and I quit. 14 years in, they're like, you're stupid. You're going to get a gold watch and 14 more and retire. I can buy my own watch, thank you. I quit. And it took courage, so I admire that. And my feeling is collectively, it's our job and duty as a family, a tribe, to help succeed. Kind of like when you have a baby dedication, for those of you that are into the church. Our job is to help raise the baby and do good things, not so good. So our job is to make sure that he has a family and he made a good choice, to help him any way we can. And be it a deal, be it support, encouragement, coffee, books, whatever. That's our job. So big move. Congratulations. Thank you. I'm proud of you. So a lot of y'all don't know me. I'm an East Coast newbie. I'm a West Coast guy. I did most of my investing in California. I did a lot of it.
Didn't know you were with the chips.
What?
The California Highway Patrol. With that mustache like
Yeah. So a long, long time ago, I used to do a lot of speaking and teaching. And usually it's refreshing to have a nice small crowd we can interact with. But I used to be up every month in front of hundreds and hundreds of people. And then I decided, I just want my life back. I'll just work on my stuff and everybody else can go to something that, benefits them. So I did a lot of that. Now I get to work on my own stuff. There's so many ways to add value. You see some examples. A friend of mine, the top one, they took a mobile manufactured and made it into 4 separate living units, pad split it. They did a lot of rehab. It was a regular manufactured home, and they pad split it. We're going to look at this one tonight. Keith did a deal. It's a duplex, not too far, Noonan. That's something that I'm working on. When you ask who's done something, we just set 3 of these this week, way out in east, like Milledgeville area, Eatonton. You can add square footage. If you're getting 250, 300, 400, if you're West Coast a foot, and you can build for 150, especially y'all in the trades, then that's a good trade. You're making money by adding square footage. You can do ground up. That's a building I did and owned and built that in California in like 2005. It was a tilt-up concrete. I owned it with one partner. It was like, the thing was huge. I don't remember, like 11,000 square foot tilt-up. We held it for a while. People think I don't like houses. I don't hold. At dinner, I was getting razzed. I actually have held a lot of real estate. I just choose not to at some point. There's an interesting one. Somebody took a garage. Let's see, there it is. This is out of Business Insider. This was a family. They wanted to live in an area they couldn't quite afford, Williamsport, Virginia. I guess it's a cool area, trendy, I haven't been there. But so they bought a house, had a garage, they converted it into an extra unit. There's value add investment. And they generated 35 grand. So it allowed them to live in an area that they couldn't necessarily afford. They couldn't make the numbers work on the payment the way it was. The house was, I think, $570, if I remember right from the article. But by adding that, they created this beautiful little studio or 1 bedroom, whatever it was, by just changing it out. So that's value add. There's a real simple example. And you see it every day. It's like the red sports car. Until you buy one, then they're everywhere. So let's talk about Ari's going to volunteer to come up and help. What are some ways we can add value to a deal? My buddy Martin named one. He had a long-term lease option. So this is interactive. This is where we all participate. It's not a test. It's not to see how smart anybody is. But what are some other ways? So lease option. Now I would suggest
Make them separate things or the same line or separate lines?
same line for that one. Lease. Well, he's got a long-term lease. So I guess in this case, Ari would be, yeah, that's fine. If I'm getting a long-term lease and I have an option, isn't that kind of a disguised subject to purchase assurance? I'm controlling the property. I'm going to buy it at the loan pay down number. So that's just value add. Somebody's got a home with a 3-4% mortgage and I want to own it someday, but they're not ready to sell, I might just have them lease it to me. But I want the right to buy it later. Obviously, I'm not going to buy it at market value. I'm going to buy it at no balance. So there's a way to add value to a deal, right? We've added another element. I'm chasing the financing. There's a lot of really cheap loans done around 2020, 2021, 2.5. I mean, the only mortgage I've had in the last 15 years was 2.62. Can you imagine that? And I sold the house. But so there's value add. So what are some other ways? Subject to, I'm going to help y'all out. This isn't a test.
Pure option.
Pure option, absolutely. What are some other ways we can add value? Somebody mentioned lot split. Who was I talking to? About a property.
I'm right here.
Yeah. Okay. So what'd you do? Let's talk about that one, Richard.
I bought unrenovated property in Fayetteville. It was on like almost a full acre, and I believe that we could subdivide it. So I went through a process with the city, which is fairly straightforward. Got a surveyor out and we subdivided it, and our costs on that side of it were about $4,500.
So you got a free lot out of it.
Yeah.
And there's a great value add. I'm going to show you some examples here in just a little bit of stuff I'm doing that's exactly that. And then we're developing them out.
Yeah.
So that is a great play. If you can figure it out and get a free lot, man, that's just gravy. What else can we do?
Adding rooms.
Add a room, just like, previously, if I figure out how to go back, or add something, yeah, ADUs. You can throw ADU up there if you
Converting
want.
4-2s to 4-3s.
Adding a bedroom?
Bedroom and bathroom.
Yeah, so adding square footage. There was a picture earlier, if I can get right there, that one on the end. This is in California, and these houses are getting, $300-400 a foot. So if you get a contractor to build for $150, you're in the money. I'd add all the square footage I can because it just makes sense. Oh, what else can we do? Any other ideas?
Significant renovation.
What's that?
It's simple, but
Yeah, fix and flip.
yeah.
Sure, that's forced equity. Sure, fix and flip.
Title flaws.
Title, dirty title's a really good one. New construction, you can build cheap enough.
Buy a note at a discount, help the borrower pay off.
Absolutely.
Or refinance rather.
Yeah, absolutely. Notes or paper in general. Absolutely. And there's a whole slew more. You can add value just by, for those of us that like lending, a lot of my lending is joint venture. I don't just straight out lend, I want to participate. So JV, for lack of better, JV lending, JV in general. If you get a great deal, why would you wholesale it? Stay in the deal, man. Go find some money, talk to some of the lenders and stay in the deal. I mean, why would you wholesale your future? Finish it out. You'll make way more money. I never understood these people that, for tip 10, 15K, they'll sell a great deal with a lot of equity. So those are just some ideas to get you going. Why now? I think this is a really good time because the market, we're going to steady where we are. My buddy Adam posted one that they did a fix and flip and they broke even. So things are changing. It's not throw a sign up, and I'm not picking on him. He's a really smart guy. It's just things are changing, and we're going to see some of that. I'm going to show you some. You like data? I'm going to show you some data. I think now more than ever, in 2010, if you bought real estate, you couldn't help but fall right. So anybody that has done real estate since 2012, you've always seen a good market. What are you going to do when things change? That's why value add makes so much sense. Where we are, I think we'd all agree on this is an actual index, REIT index. When there's, fear in the streets is when you should be buying, not when there's greed, right? Buffett. So that's where it is right now. If you look at a cycle, there's 4 phases of a real estate cycle. And most of us, depending on where you are, but we're probably, either here or somewhere here, or maybe even here. And this is where it's starting to decline. And we're seeing some pretty good declines. Austin, Texas, where I used to live, is off 23% from the peak. That's not getting a deal. That's just median price. So we're phasing down. Georgia's right in the middle of it. We're seeing a 40% increase in inventory. So, it's coming. It's here. We just haven't seen it materialize or manifest in the pricing. But the data's starting to stack up. The months supply are increasing. Now, just so you know, a hot market is like under 2 months. That's what we've seen of supply. Some areas in California were down to a couple weeks at one point. Normal's 4, 5, 6 months. Now 6 months seems like forever because we've been hot for so long. But that's a pretty normal market. That's when you can negotiate a deal, look at some houses, take your time. It's not multiple offers Monday, right? So we're starting to see, yesterday, Las Vegas, year over year, listings are up 80%. Year over year, Vegas, which is always an epicenter for a meltdown.
How much you say, 8%?
80%? 80% year over year. Now the actual number, that could be there was 2 houses and now there's 4 houses, but the numbers are climbing too. Percentages don't mean the absolutes you have to dig into, but Austin's now 23. I got a new number this morning, but Oakland, notice a lot of these are West Coast, but even like San Antonio could do no wrong 4 or 5 years ago. So we're seeing a correction, which is why you got to figure out a deal and a way to add value to it to make sure you get out okay.
Where does Atlanta fall on that list?
This is the top 10 metros, so it didn't make the top 10, but it's there, and I've got a slide. Hold that thought for about 3 slides, and we'll get there. Condos always, that's always a gateway product. Death by condo, as John Schaub says. You can see that condos 19. And what's scary here is these are big cities. There's smaller cities that have worse hits on condos. Like if you're in Florida and you're looking for a condo, you'll have your day in about a year, not already. So careful with condos. Home builders are feeling it. All the home builder stocks, if anybody's paid attention, their CEOs are actually saying that things are tight and we're giving up more concessions. Good point on sales price. In a new track, it's meaningless because they're giving up so much concession. Average home's getting $30,000, $40,000 of concession, but it's still showing. Someone bought a house for $350,000, they really bought it for $310,000. They can't say that. So be careful with that. And their stock's getting hammered. KB, Pulte, whoever. They're off 65% if my math serves me. So you could forget all this, go home and just short the builder stocks a year ago. You'd be fine. Never listen to another real estate class. Stay home. They even have an index of builders. Just short the whole darn thing, right, Ari, and call it good, right? You don't need to do all this.
Hey, Reggie,
Yes, sir.
something to mention too,
Yes,
because
sir.
I've had
Please.
this come up with someone.
Yeah.
If you're buying a house as well that you're intending on selling, keep that in mind because that new construction that's just 2 miles away from you, that construction, that seller, they're selling that for $10,000, $15,000 in concessions. So you think that you're about to sell your house at a certain property because it looks like it's the same square footage, but you're not seeing how much concession that they're doing. You're going to have to drop your price $20,000
Exactly right.
to compete with them.
They're eating their
And the
own.
rates too, they can get you better rates too.
Yeah, they're buying down the financing for
Yeah.
sure. They're doing buy downs. What's interesting is they're eating their own. There's some subdivisions where the last phase they can't get out because the new phase is 50 to 100 grand. In Florida, 150 less. So yeah, they're eating their own on the new builder side. Every cycle, new builders go under and then they come back. Nothing new. We're talking about Atlanta. Atlanta's a unique place in that it's got more institutional investment activity than most places. There's like 4 companies that own 20,000 rental houses in greater Atlanta. That's a lot of houses to be controlled by institutional people. And their goal is to crank the rent, crank it so they can give their investors what they pro forma to promised. So Atlanta's got, which usually means investors dump and get on. So like just in the McDonough area right now, you're seeing a lot of correction. Prices are in the affordable segment now. Remember, when we talk prices, it's segmented by price point. So in the affordable stuff, they're starting to discount. They're dumping houses. Atlanta, the boom's over. It's the first time in a long time the Census Bureau, they started detailing numbers that it's the first time that Atlanta Metro has lost net migration. So the party's slowing down. I'm not gonna say it's over. There's 5 or 6 million people here on a given day, but it's slowing down, man. This you'll see at the real estate level at some point. Just like Texas is seeing it now. Remember when it was the hottest state in the country in 2020, 2021? People were going there in droves, driving the price way up. It's correcting pretty hard, previous slide. It's global. Even like Scandinavia, Italy, from peak to decline, they're starting to see it. So it's not just us. It's a thing, man. I think the real core issue, if we could sum it down to one or two things, is basically if you look at where wages are, and this isn't even looking at inflation, forget what things cost for real, but if you just look at what house prices were relative to income, notice what's happened. And I'm not talking about interest rates, I'm not talking about anything else, I'm just talking about the delta here underneath. It's out of whack. So either people have to make a lot more money quickly, you think that's gonna happen? Or prices of houses have to come down a lot. That's probably the more likely scenario. Now, I'm not gonna say it's 2008 again, but it certainly is going the right way for those of us that like discounted real estate. The other problem is, if you look at, it's a busy chart, and I apologize for that, but if you look at the number of debt to income ratio, you notice FHA is right up there, VA is right up there. They're allowing people to buy houses with 65% DTI. You think that's ever gonna work long term? Martin, you're a banker, is that ever gonna work? Would you loan me something at 65? I had a really good credit. These guys, FHA is what, 580, 600, somewhere in there? At a 600 credit, would you do 65% for me? Come on, man, it's a brand new house.
I apologize.
Not gonna happen.
I apologize.
That's not a good loan, right? We agree on something that's a really silly loan.
Yeah.
So does that mean that it's gonna be like 2008 where people are gonna,
One can only hope, but I doubt it. Because we're in this new era.
but why do you doubt it?
Because they figured out that was really bad for the whole world. I mean, I benefited greatly,
Right,
so I'm all about it, but they figured out that kind of messes up the whole world. Global financial meltdown wasn't a GFC, it wasn't a US or where I lived, Sacramento thing, it was a whole. So they're gonna extend and pretend, like right now,
but what are they gonna do to fix that?
they don't have to, there they go. The previous, and I'm not political, I don't care, I just try to monetize whatever's happening. The previous administration was extending and pretending FHA loans for just fill out a thing on the website. So like 16%, Wall Street Journal had an article on 3 months ago, 16% of FHA loans aren't performing. Well, with that kind of zero down or disguised down and that kind of debt to income, as soon as equity's gone, they're bailing. I mean, I'm looking forward to that day. So those of you that think I don't like houses, I just don't like them at this price. When we get them at half price all day. So this is gonna come out to play, I think, but in a very controlled way. They're gonna manipulate the system.
There's been a lot of modifications. I mean,
Mods,
crazy.
you know, they'll let them, giving them enough time to sell, or they'll
Short sales.
short sales are coming back. There's people now that are actually doing them. They'll figure it out. Just know that this is a problem.
They changed Reg in 12 to not bail the banks out again. So like that's a factor too. They gotta get creative with how they bail each other out.
And I'm not gonna pretend I know what it is. I just know it's not gonna be a 2007 because it's just bad for the whole world, financially speaking.
Yeah, that's
Except for those of us in this room.
selling and trading notes.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
I just don't see how that's gonna benefit anybody. The tax base will drop. Property taxes, if you go to 30% of today's value, what's that gonna do to all the local revenue and yada, yada, yada. But here's one, so Back when I used to teach a lot, we had a deal evaluation sheet when we were looking at a deal. We broke out a lot of the line items. And I have an Excel version, but I would always make my students do it by hand. But I pulled one up the other day, and there's an item on there that we haven't seen in a long time. It's market decline. So when we're doing, what we think the ARV is, and then all the stuff, and then, break even, how much I need to make, this is the most I can pay. There's an item on there for market decline. Like 2008, it was 3% a month in certain cities. And then how many months is it going to take for you to get rid of it? Adam, that was an item, had you thought about on that other flip, it probably would have worked out a little better. You got to buy with more room. Again, not a knock. I'm here to educate, So that is something that's back in vogue. It's a thing again. Is the market going to take something from you? It's not going to give you anything. So you can't buy it and 90 days later, someone's going to pay 10% more. That day is gone. What's interesting is there was a group, TNG, that did this really busy wheel based on where you are. And so what strategy would you work? So let's just talk about it. All right, maybe you want to do notes one more time first? If we're here now, but let's just say that you're in a recovery. Let's just say you're at 2009 right here. What should you be doing? What are some of the things you should be doing? Sorry? Probably be buying REOs, because there'll probably be some. Short sales might be in vogue, right?
Reg, what scenario?
Musical group, right? Speedwagon?
Yeah.
All right, help me out.
Real estate owned by a bank. It's been repossessed.
So where is it in a good question, Ari, am I gonna dodge it? Where is it in the cycle of foreclosure? It's REO. Done, right?
Banco.
That means the gavel hit somewhere, whatever auction it had, and there was no outside bidder for that property. It went back to the lender at that point in time. As soon as they go going once, going twice, whatever the number is that they're trying to get, back to the beneficiary lender. At that point, it becomes owned by the bank real estate. So it's real estate owned by a bank. And it's a really good buying system when there's a lot of them. I know you guys are like kind of looking at me like, here, all right. So a little trivia. What's the capital of California? Sacramento. So if you could miraculously pick up their main newspaper, there's a Sacramento Bee. This is from April 26, 2009. Houses selling for a song. I was buying houses cheaper than my Honda Accord. So the paper somehow, they called a couple of the REO brokers and said, who are your biggest clients? And they spilled. And so in here, they quoted me, real estate investor Reggie is happy to oblige. At 25K, the risk is out of the market, he says. It's pretty much bottomed out. What he does arguably has a more positive impact than speculators who bought $400,000 houses during the boom and sold them for $500 a few months later, pricing out regular folks who are unwilling to take on a high interest loan. During better times, he maintains an office on the edge of town focused on selling homes he bought during the last bust. So it's not that I'm against houses, it's just there's a time to sell them. And buying them out of foreclosure from banks, not homeowners, no one gets hurt by the low price. So I don't think we're gonna get to this again, but you never know. You never know. Let's talk about cycles some more. So if we're here, would it be pretty easy to buy something sub 2?
Yes.
Yeah. No one's gonna call a whole bunch. Would it be easier to get an option on a home? Probably, because they're not doing much, right? They're kind of down here hanging out, right? Could you get a pretty good discount if they had equity? Probably. What else can you do down here? Would this be a good time to hold? So as we're up to here, this is probably a good time to build some houses. You could build cheap enough, construction would definitely be a thing. This would be an okay time to do some small projects, subdivisions and smaller, not the big stuff. Bigger projects, definitely. Now we get up to here, what are we thinking?
Thinking it's gonna last forever.
Yeah, exuberance. What is that?
This is the-
Stupid exuberance, what's the right word for that?
Rational.
Irrational. I call it stupid exuberance, but yeah, you're thinking that the party's gonna go on forever, but this is where all those houses I bought, so for me, 2009 was here, and I got rid of them about here. They tripled in value, I'm good. When I'm buying stuff for 25 grand and I can triple, I'm good, you know? So this might be a good time to take some profit. And if you're gonna do this game, do it smartly, be tax efficient. I bought them all in my 401k, almost all of them. So I didn't have to worry about 1031, exit, recapture, opportunity zone, any of that nonsense, accelerated depreciation, none of that. That stuff hurts my head. Just, here, I want to sell it, put the money back in and go do it some more. So now the good part, when we're like here, what should we be doing?
Leverage.
Huh?
I was gonna say leverage at the top too. Borrow. Cost of debt is nothing.
Assuming on rates are cooperating.
Yeah, assuming it's like 2021, 22.
But leverage cuts both ways, so we want to make sure it's on stuff. If the tenants can't afford it, neither can you.
Of course.
Yeah, so we want to make sure it's smart, because leverage is, there's stupid leverage too, right? So as long as the asset can pay for itself, sure.
Just out of curiosity, so you sold off in the expansion because it
Uh-huh.
had tripled. Why wouldn't you have held until it reached the top and then just started to tilt down? Because wouldn't that be pretty predictable that you could
It totally was. I did it for lifestyle.
Yeah, I'm tracking. Okay.
I did it. It had nothing to do with business. I already knew. And the good part is it worked out fine because I had a plan for the money. If I didn't have a plan for the money, then it'd be stupid to do. You got good assets, they're well managed. Why would you get rid of them when there's more juice? But I did it for lifestyle. I took a sabbatical year, did some studying and some other stuff. My wife and I had a baby. So there's a lot of other good stuff going on that wasn't business. It's not always business, but it's a good question. Hang on, but the challenge is you never know when here is. And it's a slippery slope from here to here. So if you miss this, so I'd rather just think about it here. Like by 2022, I'm like liquidating anything I had because I don't know how long it's gonna last. So along here, I'd be careful. This is where value add is huge. And then now we're back to, now you can buy again. So it's just a repeat cycle, and that's what this wheel is talking about. This is a great time to wholesale. This is a great time for agency because things sell quick and easy. Great time to up your listing game or whatever, marketing, Agency is great because you don't really have any risk. You list a house, soccer moms are making a couple $100 grand working a couple hours, nothing against them, but it's just the market. It's not you, Maybe a couple more. Government programs, so anytime you can buy on low down FHA, this is a good time. Options, lease options. Let's go over to where we are right now. So owner financing, I'm trying to read upside down, sub 2, options, contract for options, equity sharing, seller participation. So these are good areas to play in right now, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about. Value add fits into that really well.
Seems like we're more in quadrant 1 right now, right?
This would be, no, we're actually moving to a declining market. Where are we? From a flat to a declining, we're kind of there. So probably like 2, kind of in here. I think we're here. We're going flat. I mean, we are flat. We're kind of slightly declining.
Is there a significance to the color and where you are in the pie? Is it like the further in you are to the quadrant,
I don't think so. I think it's just symmetrical.
yeah.
It's just, and yeah, how you look at it. TNG credit for that. They did that, North Group. So now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of look at some real deals that people have done in this room, me included, and we're just going to break it down. See how we do this thing called value add. So far, so good? So this is deal number 1. Keith, come on up now. This is one of his houses. My friend Keith, we've been friends for a while, and he was nice enough. He let me ride around, and we went and got some coffee and did this. So this is a duplex, 2 doors, split down the middle, top to bottom. I'm gonna just, so he doesn't have to talk as much. I told him I promised him it would be easy. It's kind of in the Noonan area, so for those of you, y'all know where that is. But this was parts of Noonan, unbeknown to me, are in the opportunity zone. Why that matters, there's some huge benefits, and they've just been upped and expanded or extended or whatever. So real quick, you can defer some of your cap gains, you can exclude investment gains, and there's no recapture. So that was partly why you did it, right?
Yeah,
That was part of your logic. So now we're just gonna let you, so what is it?
yeah, I guess, so first of all, it's duplex, and one of the reasons I did invest in this area is because of the opportunity zone benefit. I mean, it wasn't the only reason. They stand alone without those benefits, but that just juices them.
Why did you need the opportunity zone benefits?
To me, it was additional value add in a tough market.
But did you come out of something to buy these?
I did not.
Okay, so you're looking at the exit.
Yeah.
Okay, which is
What I did actually, maybe one move I did make is you have to feed it with capital gains. So I did have to create some capital gains, which worked out fine. I had a bunch of appreciated stock from a company I worked for, and appreciated. I worked for the company for many years. It was $150 stock. It hit 400 recently, and I went ahead and liquidated that at 400 and created a capital gain that I then rolled into this opportunity zone and essentially didn't have to pay any of the capital gains on it yet.
So the value add, this is a really good deal because it has multiple squeezes or facets to it. One was there was a huge tax advantage, which is huge, and he actually needed it because of the stock thing. And unlike a lot of people think, well, it's got to be house to house, he's doing stock to house, investment to investment. But then he's adding another element to it, which is he's adding value. Remember that picture of building new stuff, a couple early slides? He's building a brand new house. If you can build it cheap enough, you've got something. And he's doing it for legacy reasons, right? We'll talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, so I guess another value add on this one was that lot. Actually, I mentioned earlier title flaw. That lot had a title flaw on it. I cleared up the title flaw. I bought that lot downtown Noonan for $12,000 for that lot. So I also, that lot's probably 20 to 25 right now if you wanted to buy it without a title flaw. So I cleaned up the title flaw.
How high, what was the flaw? Just
It actually, essentially it was deeded. When it was deeded from one owner to another as a gift in 1976, it wasn't properly deeded.
Okay.
And instead of having to do a quiet title, I had a great attorney who actually found one of the heirs and got them to sign it over.
Yeah, so he's gone, right?
The original owner is gone, but the owner's son is
So
still
air
alive.
tracing to have them perfected. Yeah, cool.
So
love it.
that normally would have been 6 months, quiet title, $9,000, and that attorney did it for about $600 for
So
me.
there's another squeeze. So we got some tax stuff going on. We bought the lot at a really good price because of a title flaw. We're building something, and I know you built it cheaper than market value.
Yep.
So we got a squeeze there. How'd you pay for it?
Private money. So actually, my previous boss at my executive.
So soft private money.
Yeah, soft private money executive that I worked for, actually, my old boss, and since he's a private money, or since he's a lay person, doesn't do what we do, I got a very good rate. I got no closing costs, no closing fees, and I only paid interest on the money I drew. So it was probably one of the cheapest things I ever financed in my life.
You get to dictate how it's going to look. They're not in the business. You know, whenever you're raising capital, for those of you that are, you always start from in and go out. Friends and family first. I'd stay away from family, but that's just me. But you'd be amazed how many people around you have money and they just don't know what to do with it. So, no repairs, but talk about the construction. What'd y'all build?
So we built a side-by-side duplex, actually modeled off of a plan that some friends of mine through a mastermind I'm in built. They built about 70 of these in something similar in Nashville before Nashville got really hot the past 20 years. So it's actually based off their plan. And 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,336 square feet on each side.
Pretty big per side. I've been in them. They're big.
Yeah.
They're nice. They feel very nice. They have tall,
nice
ceilings, lots of windows.
Yep.
Very light, airy cabinets. Good. All right. We got a couple more questions we want to know about. Why'd you do this? Why'd you buy it?
As the market shifted, I couldn't buy. I'm buying, time I buy something in rehab and I'm in at 170 a square foot, it's worth 200 a square foot. There's only a $30 spread there. Here I could actually build for 120 a square foot. It's worth almost 200 a square foot. So I'm creating a $60 to $80 a square foot gap by
So
doing
if you're
this.
creating a gap per square footage, should you do more square footage or less? You're making money per square foot. Should you do more or less?
I did more until I hit a point
The
where
answer is more.
it wouldn't rent.
It's not a trick question.
I did more until it got to the point where it wouldn't cash
Obviously.
flow as a rental, kind of thing. So,
Yeah, I mean, nobody needs a 2,900 square foot duplex, most likely. Your sweet spot's somewhere between 800 to 1,200, 1,300.
yeah. I think another point is in this market, a lot of us, several in the room, could buy properties in this area, for a right price that would cash flow and stuff back in 2016, 17, all the way up to about 2021, maybe even. And then since then, the numbers have been upside down. It's been hard to buy anything. So that's why I shifted and pivoted to building. And it just happened to work where I could put the tax benefits together with, I had the right builder.
What I love is you're layering multiple squeezes.
Yep.
And that's what value add's all about. Don't just do one squeeze, that's not enough. Stack, add more of these. You're keeping these, right? The opportunity zone kind of lends you to doing that anyway, or leads you to doing that, if I will.
Yeah, and the opportunity zone, the way it's set up is if you keep it for 10 years, on its 10th birthday, you get a bunch of huge tax benefits. So I plan to hold them. They're great rentals. I got great tenants in them. They're cash flow, and it's going to cash flow very nicely. Very little money left in them.
What is the rent for per side, gross rent?
$16.75. So the building's bringing in about 33.
What it cost for both sides altogether?
Total cost to build it with the lot and everything was $340.
And your total rents are right about there. So
Yeah.
you got the 1% on brand new stuff.
Yep.
In, an area that it's not like you're way out in, South Georgia or something.
That's right.
That's cool.
In a core area.
What, we talked about the strategies. There's a lot of them and I like them. What's the exit? What are you gonna do with it someday?
I'll hold it at least the 10 years and then we'll see from there. And with the other thing with the opportunity zone, since I don't have to pay back the depreciation, I'm cost segregating them and accelerating all the depreciation on them and then using that to offset some traditional to Roth conversion that I'm
So
currently doing.
another squeeze, getting discount on a conversion. If y'all didn't catch that. If you didn't have the stock gain, this might have made sense to do in a 401k, right?
Yeah, it would have made sense.
If you didn't have the stock gain, so I just want you to keep your thinking cap straight here. I'm a big proponent of the 401k, but.
Or I would have created a capital gain if I had to. I could have sold one of my other rentals, created a capital gain artificially, even if I didn't sell it, and
Absolutely.
then use that to stoke the.
Yeah, and this works for your timeline where you are in life.
Yep.
A lot of it is seasonal life. I had a huge cap gain 2022, huge, and I paid the tax on it. Because for my life, where I'm at in the season of life, I don't want to go build, I don't want to own, I just paid the tax and moved on. And it was a huge tax bill. So seasonal, there's a personal component to this. It's got to fit for your lifestyle, your goals. Any other thoughts on this, man? It's a great deal. How many of these do you do more than one? 'Cause we look
We're
at
gonna have 6 total.
6 duplexes or 6 sites?
4 duplexes and 2 single-family homes.
All in the same op zone.
Yep, all in the same zone, all in the same neighborhood.
Good job.
Pretty cool.
Which would
Good
make a
deal,
pretty
man.
big
Good
shift
deal.
for that neighborhood too, which is gonna be
Good deal.
nice.
That's great. And we didn't have some out-of-town speaker show us. Yeah, we didn't have somebody come from some slick out-of-town place to show where it's done. You can actually go to Noonan and go by there and check them out. So I'm big on showing you stuff you can do here. But having said that, we're gonna look at one of my deals. So this is east of here. Anybody know where Eatonton is? Because I sure as heck don't. Milledgeville, Eatonton, does that mean anything? It didn't to me. I drove out. So you know what that is?
I think I saw it on the way to Savannah.
That's what I'm saying. I like huh? First time. So I met a guy here. He's a flipper from California. He moved here in 2010. My friend Dave, and he moved to McDonough. He's flipped over 1,000 houses here, and then he realized the market got tight. The wholesalers weren't bringing deals that made sense. He couldn't flip a house, so he started going out there and looking at dirt and bringing in double wide manufacturers, developing it and selling it. And so he and I met and we talked and we partnered. So I've got 5 of these going here in Georgia. And this one was cool. The problem we have is, as I showed you earlier, wages have flatlined. If you include inflation, they're actually nominally they're down, but house prices have gone crazy. So one of the possible solutions is more affordable housing. I can't do much about the income going up. That's each person's own deal. But if I can bring a more affordable house to the market, that makes sense. So what I'm doing right now is I'm doing this model. It's a 4.2, actually a 4.3 if I want it to. And it's cost me about 110 grand. It's a brand new double wide Fleetwood. That's for the house set in place. And that's my cost as a dealer, or as a developer rather. So it's not retail. If you go retail, they're gonna want 140, 150. So that's what we're doing. And you kind of saw.
What was your designation to get that cost? You said you're.
I'm a developer. And I am. I've got 5 of them though. I mean, if the guy doubts me, I'll buy 5 of them right now. Here, let's spec out 5. That's what I did. I said, I'll buy 3 today. So I spec'd out 3. He was kind of looking at me. I hear that a lot. I'm like, great, here's my checkbook. I'll order 3 right now. You have time? So we ordered 3. Dude, all we did was one's gray, one's green, and I don't even know what the other company is.
Are they all in the same general area? Did
So
you buy
we
a
did.
bunch of land?
So that's what's coming. Really timely question. You know, they all look various shades of whatever, but affordable. That's the key. So what I did is my partner Dave and I went out there. I rode around with him for a day. We started looking for land that we could split. Lots were running about 35, 38 grand. This gets you 1.5 acres to 3 acres. That's in the county. The county there is Putnam. They're okay with a manufacturer. Not every county is. And so we bought this tract. We've actually got, I think, 7 of them in there right now. And it was one lot, 3.28 acres. When we bought it, it was that. We split it to this. So we got 2 lots out of it. So what's my lot cost on the second unit? Kind of like Richard's. 0. I think we closed on this for 34 grand. And so my lot cost was half of that. So I got a lot for free. The seller never thought about it. The soil was good. We could perk them. Had city water or county water, which is good for us. We didn't have to do wells. And then we went ahead and so what we did is we found it by driving dirt.
Can we go back? You said perk, so you put them on septic?
Yeah, this is county water septic. All of this out here, there's no sewer, but they do have county water. I personally, when I'm looking for dirt, I want it relatively flat enough for a build site. I want it to perk somewhere on the property, and it has to have drainage. So on a cliff, where are you going to drain it, you know? And I want, you know, it has to be zone correct, agricultural or something that they're cool with. Each county's different. And we got enough to get 2 out of it. And I wanted a minimum of a ½ acre each. We got 1.3 or 1.4 out of it, so we're good. So we just, you know, had a surveyor cut it up what we thought looked good. And we're just literally side by side, there's 2 of these. One's gray and one's green. The 2 lots, I mean, we didn't do anything too different. They're going to be priced accordingly, the same. So what is it? It's brand new development. I hesitate to say brand new construction because they're already built. They bring the 2 halves on a trailer and join them, marry the 2 together on site, which y'all know. How do we find it? It was actually listed. When I drove that day, I looked at 8 lots and I said, this one's splittable. Let's go to the county. And sure enough, they said, yeah, you got enough road frontage. We wouldn't have a problem with it. And they told us how it's done. It was very easy. It wasn't even that costly. So MLS listed, but the value add, the other squeeze, one of the squeezes was that we got a lot split. So I got a free lot, so to speak, or my lot cost went to half. The purchase price, don't quote me, I'm going to say 36 grand for the lots. I'm pretty close. How do we pay? I financed. I'm the lender partner on this. Repairs was just new construction. So on the lot, you're bringing it in, you're clearing the lot out, you're putting the driveway, septic, doing the HVAC, the stairs, the deck in the back, all that's development stuff. We bought it because we thought it was a solution to the affordable housing problem, and there's a nice spread in it. Strategy involved was finding a lot that was buildable, that was splittable, and finding a product that area. The median income out there is only like 60, 62 grand. It's not that high. So there's no point in building a $400,000 house out there. It's not going to do as well. So the numbers, everybody wants to know the numbers. my all-in cost for everything is about 175 grand as a developer. That's for the home, and I already told you the home was about 110. And for the HVAC, the septic, the driveway, the electrical, it's about 175 all in. And that's really accurate. I just checked it yesterday. It's pretty darn close. My exit, we're gonna sell for 250. So if you're doing rough math, Ari, help me out. 25% is gonna dissipate for resale costs. So that puts me at 225. I'm in at 175. What's my net yield?
Good enough.
Good enough. But that's done over 6 months. So if what's 50 on 175, Ari? About 26%. I help you out. So if I do it twice in a year, because I can do it in 6 months, what's my ROI? 26 twice, about 52%. I know inquiring that was one of the things that used to bug me. People would talk about big picture or gross, but man, at the end of the day, you have a profit. What are you really making? We've had a couple of closed ones, so we're speaking firsthand. It's in hope. As long as FHA keeps doing that 65% LTV that Chase won't touch, we're good. And rates, if anything, will come down, which will make it more affordable. So that's what I'm doing. The exit for it is to build it as fast as you can. The rains haven't helped. We've run into some delays because of mud and what have you, and then sell it to a first-time buyer and do it again. Same pool of money over and over.
And how easily is a first-time buyer that's making 62,000 a year in Central Georgia, is it easy for them to get financing?
It is easy. It's just, it's super easy. FHA is like streamlined. They got it down. I remember in the old days when I was flipping houses back in 8 and 9, we'd kind of, FHA buyer now, you'd pray for a conventional buyer. But if they made it easy, where it gets a little more complicated is it's manufactured. The saving grace is it's new and it's on city water, so I don't have to do a well test and this, that, and the other. So it's pretty straightforward. It's just the challenge we're facing is not every lender can do manufactured. Like USDA will do it, VA will do it, FHA, but not every mortgage broker is familiar. They all say I can do anything. There's a couple that do these a lot. We try to send you to one of them. They know all the little forms, and FHA has some special requirements for manufactured. They'll know what they are. The average mortgage broker won't. Engineer's letter, this, that, and the other thing. So questions about this one? Dean?
Would seller financing have been an option that you would have considered, or would you just rather have them go conventional?
No, I won't do seller financing unless I absolutely worst day ever can't get rid of it. The idea is to get out of it, not stay in the deal. If I want to seller finance, this is too good a product. Usually seller finance something that's a little harder, or you wrap finance. I mean, my worst case scenario when I did my plan B, my plan C, plan B is to discount it down and discount it. And I can go a long ways because I got a lot of room in there, right? I can sell one of these for $199 and probably break even. But plan D is, well, plan E is to rent it for $1,400. But one before is seller finance. So it's on there. All right.
Reg, did you fund this with IRA money or personal money?
I only use solo 401k as much as I can. So unless it's really awkward or weird, it's usually a solo 401k Roth. Thanks for asking. Occasionally a Roth IRA. All of them are self-directed, obviously. All of them are ready to go.
So no tax bill for you flipping inventory.
I'm not flipping. I'm just lending somebody money. I'm not on title. I don't go out there, but once in a while when I get bored. I don't have a whole lot of involvement here other than write that check every now and then. So yeah, I'm just a lender. But it's an equity participation loan. 100%.
I missed that part.
You want to hear that again?
So you lent on?
Yeah, I'm the lender. So let's talk about the paperwork. You guys want to talk about how the paperwork works on this? Because that's where everybody goes, well, how the hell did you do that? I can't do that, sorry. So, Dean, let's just role play.
Yeah.
You're the developer. You call me up and go, man, I found some dirt out here. I think it's going to work. Have you talked to the county? Yeah, they're good. They do manufacturers. Have you had it soil tested? No, but I've done preliminary. It looks good. I talked to the soil guy. He said, yeah, it'll pass. Okay, cool. Now we got something. All right, how much is the dirt? I probably get it for about 30. Okay, cool. We do manufactured? Yeah. So right there, I already know what my costs are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, all right, well, what do you want from me? You need a loan on it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do an equity participation loan. When you buy it in escrow to close, your closing agent, Your agent's gonna send over all the stuff we need, and Josh, you know this firsthand because you've helped us a few times. Great agent, by the way. He's tremendous at this. I'm not just saying that, I've used him. He's really good at it. So much so that I wanted to fire the other agent and use Josh exclusively because he's so much better. But it caused some internal strife there. But anyway, so basically, we would put a security deed on the property. You would get title, your LLC, and we would put a line of credit on it for a year. The first advance would be whatever you need to close. So all in, you need 33 grand. We're going to advance 33, and now you own it. And then you're going to ask for an advance immediately to do some clearing and this and that. So we're going to advance you some money, and eventually we'll put a $200,000 line of credit on it. Eventually, you're going to get to 170, 180, depending on what we do. And then when you go to sell, we're just going to give you a payoff, estimate what half of the net is, and that's our payoff. And we'll hold a little bit back for those lagging utilities and things that come after. We don't want you to look for us or vice versa.
So just equity participation, no interest or anything like that?
There's a bottom line interest, but hard cost. There's a cost to money just like drywall, but I don't charge points and fees and a bunch of junk. It's just, everything costs, interest costs 10%. That's what we use for the project. But you're only out 4 months, so it's not that bad. And it's kind of a pain because you need software to figure out how much is out on a given month. Remember, it's going to escalate up. So it's a little bit, that's an RE thing, root canal that through. The software will help you. And eventually you figure out how much interest and you add that into the lender side as a cost. And that's it. And then when the payoff comes for the new buyer, we would say, okay, well, we need $203,000 to release the lien. And you sold it for $250 less resale, you keep the rest. So right out of escrow, we're not looking for each other. I get mine, you get yours. And then we hold a little bit back because you're going to have some utilities and you're going to get some insurance refund and whatever. We'll work it out. We're talking less than a couple $1,000. So does that kind of explain the paper? And there's different ways you can do this. It's just how I do it.
You do have to make sure you're working with someone
100%.
that understands it. Because, for example, a lot of private money lenders that don't understand the strategy, you have to think there's a moment that's going to occur where
Absolutely.
you bought the land, but until that house that's manufactured somewhere else is attached and it is retired, it's personal property, it's not real property. So just realize that there's a moment that happens where your lender, depending on how it's structured, has money on a property and they have money that's involved in that house that is not yet its highest and best use because it's not attached. There's a trust moment that occurs. And I'd like to point that out because at first I was like, why would I partner with someone, do all the work and get to the end and get them 50% of the deal? Because I wasn't educated. When I got educated, I realized that's because there's a moment that's going to occur with that private lender. Man, they just trusted in you because until that thing is attached to that land, it's nothing more than a motor vehicle. And you're borrowing $170,000 for the hope it gets attached.
To your good point, what if Dean got amnesia and told the delivery company to put it on lot B? There's nothing I can do about it. He owns lot B, which is next door. We own these two, and he got amnesia. I paid for the house. I sent him the 110 grand. He goes, oh, put it over here. Is there much I can do about it? Not really. Once he anchors it and titles it, I'm kind of done. He and I now have an issue, so absolutely correct. That's why most lenders don't like doing this stuff.
It's a little in the weeds, but with the equity split like that, do you face UBIT potential if you're doing that out of an IRA or 401k? Is there a
Remember, in the K, one of the reasons I like it is you can use financing and leverage.
Okay.
In the IRAs, you got more of a problem when you use leverage. But I only use a 401k for stuff like this because there's no UDFI.
Okay.
You can borrow. I always say if I ever had to start over, knowing what I know now and had to start over, I would go mow my neighbor's lawn, charge him $100, open a 401k, borrow $1 million and do this stuff. That's how it start over, literally. So does this kind of explain that strategy? Pretty much, you guys are good? I want to stay on track here and not keep you all. So I've got a bunch of these going in different, I've got 2 going way up in the northeast part of Georgia and 3 down here. And interestingly, in northeast, it's a higher median income area. I'll get more for the houses. Same houses, we'll get more money for them. So our net should go up a little bit. So what do you think? Interesting? Different? But the extra squeeze was the free lot. And that's what made it even better. Okay, so now we're going to look at a different, this is now we're shifting to paper. Anyone read the book, The Art of the Slow Flip? It's kind of an obscure.
I'm part of the group right now.
You part of the group?
Yeah, because it's very, right now, it's a trend in Middle Georgia. You can buy a house for 20,000.
Right.
30,000. You don't have to fix it.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's kind of like this option.
So we're showing you an example, and the reason I picked this house with Adam is, even though it's way up in Maine near Canada, is you can do the same thing in Georgia. In fact, he and I have one in Georgia that we bought for 22 grand. I didn't put it up as an example because we don't have possession yet. It's going through an eviction. I want to show you real deals, real numbers. So I don't want to show you anything that might pro forma be my last example is a little bit of pro forma, but I want to show you stuff that's actually happened, not hope it happens stuff. But so art of this, you want to describe what's the art of the soul flipping gist? What's the strategy?
Strategy is you buy very cheap, and then you amortize 30 years when you sell it to tenant. But when you buy from private money, you amortize 5 years. After 5 years, when your loan got paid off, you collect the money is to your pocket from year 6 to 30 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, you can do this anywhere. You can buy a house in Arkansas.
Well, he did it in almost Canada.
Yeah, anywhere. Because,
Absolutely.
But it depends on the area. You cannot buy in every state.
It won't work as well
house.
if the numbers don't. So Adam, come on up. Let's talk about this one for a minute. What's interesting is I did a bunch of these in 2012 in Tucson, Arizona with a partner. And we were buying double wides on land for like 24, 22 grand, selling them on owner financing. And I created all these notes. There was like 22, 23 notes. One of them still paid. We paid the underlying off. And somebody's still paying us $550 a month since 2012. I just, like, this is amazing, cool. So that's the house. It's way, way up, almost in Canada. And let's talk about it. So it's a single family, right?
Single family home.
3-1?
I think it was a 4-1 if I remember
4-1,
right.
okay, thank you. And how'd you find it?
On the MLS, actually, there's a lot of good deals on the MLS up there in Maine, where I live.
It's an interesting
Where my
aberration
house is.
because the Northeast is still short houses.
Yeah, very short.
Like Jersey's still booming. I mean, forget New York City, but the Northeast, there's still a shortage of inventory and the prices are still relatively good. So you found this, what were they asking on the MLS?
I believe they were asking, I think it was like 45,000 or something like that, 45.
And that seemed fair?
50. Yeah, we bargained them down to 34,000.
So you bought this for
They had been on there for like 6 months because they've been empty.
Was
A
it
lot of people don't
listed
like
during the
them.
winter?
Yeah,
Yeah, see, that's one of the Northeast secrets. Don't make offers in the winter. Because no one's looked at the house in 4 months. You've only got to see the look. They're ready. So you bought it for what, 34?
34,000.
And I financed it, so that's an easy one. Did you do any repairs?
We did nothing to it. We just put a keypad door lock on so we could do
And
remote
that's the slow flip.
showings.
So the gist of what this guy is writing about, it's interesting, he did a book now, I've been doing this for a couple of decades, but you buy something, instead of fixing it, maybe a haul out, nothing else, you sell it on terms, owner financing. You buy it cheap enough, you buy it for 20, 30 grand, you sell it for 60, 80, whatever you can get on fine, don't fix the thing. And, you know, the headlines is sweat equity, you know, no bank qualifying, whatever. And it works great. I've been doing them. I've got a bunch, I had a bunch in Tucson, most of them are paid off. We've got this one way up there, and it just works. So, and why'd you buy this particular one?
Just because it seemed like a good deal. I knew I could easily sell it as a slow flip. There's a lot of demand up there in the Northeast. For
Absolutely.
these slow
So now we're going to get into the strategy. I ran the numbers for you to make it easy. So you paid 34. We financed it, including closing costs, so whatever, 34, 35 grand. But more importantly, what'd you sell it for?
Yeah, 64,000. I think it was
69. You got 5 down.
The borrower.
So
put
you, in
5K
essence, wrapped my underlying.
Correct.
And what he wrapped it with was 11%, 10,999, 64 grand, 180.
15-year loan. Yeah.
15-year loan is 64. So the regular payment, and this is an important number if you're going to do the strategy. This has to be a number they can pay. If it's so high, you know, you're in an area where the average person can afford $700 and you have a $1,300, you just forget it back. That's like that 65% DTI thing. Don't do those. Those are dumb deals. All my ones in Tucson, We backed this out reverse by sticking in there. We put $750 in there. That was the max somebody could pay. So we could play with the other things to make it work. We kind of left that alone. We could change the rate, we could change the payments, but it cannot exceed $750, including taxes and insurance, because that's all a person can afford. So over time, the idea is that if they pay it all, the 64 becomes 130, and the total interest is like 67 grand for sake of discussion. And we're on an equity split, so basically, how much down? 5 grand, 6 grand?
The borrower, or the buyer put $5,000 down.
So, all right, this is where it gets interesting. All in, we're in 35, but we got 6 back. And now we got a loan going in, in the shadows for this. And so the underlying's at 10%, and was it 8 years?
Correct.
So he's paying 8 years to the lender, but he's fully amortizing it. So year 9, it gets pretty interesting because there's $727 to be shared with no underlying. The way this was set up is we initially decided we didn't want initial cash flow. We'd rather pay the debt off quick as we can. You could structure it to create more cash flow by going longer on the underlying. So you get to play with this. And half of 20 houses, Josh, is the same as owning 10 houses. So as far as giving up half the equity, it's the same. Right.
So 2 questions. One, I'm assuming that the person that's buying this or on seller finance, they're going to do the renovations for the property?
Correct.
They already did, right? What'd they do? They put something.
They said they're getting a new roof. Actually, another contractor is doing the roof, doing a new roof this week. He's going to turn it into a rental. So he's going to rent it out.
So he's an investor, I'm assuming?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And so he'll probably get, it's a 4-bedroom home, so he'll probably get $1,000 to $1,100 a month.
So then I'm assuming your target customer is possibly like an investor or a contractor or someone like that?
I prefer that, yeah. We've done actually a few to homeowners as well.
Okay.
I prefer the investor just so I don't accidentally fall into that Dodd-Frank.
Well, no, everybody has that dream of weekend warrior sweat equity thing,
Yeah.
But contractors can carry it out a little better. What's cool is usually if you're in the trades, you have friends that do all the other trades. They'll come help you. The goal, the gist is that they stay there forever and pay on time. But if they don't, what happens? You get the title back somehow, some
Start
way.
over again.
You start over. You're not gonna fix anything anyway. So it's not like, oh, my turnaround, for all you rental guys is gonna be minimum 15K. Here, you just remove what they left, advertise it as a weekend warrior special, owner financing, no bank qualifying, 5 grand moves you in, own now.
And usually up in Maine, we actually get quite a bit more down. I just wanted to move this one quicker since it was your first deal with me. I didn't want you to sit there with no funds coming in. But one of the ones we did just after him, we got 15.
Heaven forbid I miss a deal.
Well, we get 10 to 15K down.
Yeah, which shocked the heck out of me. Because when I did it in other parts, we were getting like 2,500, 3 grand down. That was our goal. If we get 3 grand, you're living there. You're owning this house, right? That was our goal. He's telling me he's getting 12, 15. I'm like, how many of
We're
these
supposed
do we
to
do?
close one tomorrow, actually, that we're getting 20 grand down on that one. So.
Again, the Northeast is a good place. So,
Adam, are y'all doing this as a land trust, or are you doing it as a straight mortgage?
We did a contract for deed on that one.
up there. Now, mine's a straight mortgage. Just
Yeah,
a
I
regular.
figured it underlined.
The reason
Underlying,
in
yeah.
Maine it's a little harder to foreclose on people. Like it takes longer than just evicting someone. So we did contract for deeds, so we could just get them out. Within a couple months.
Which has its own, can of worms. I'll leave that alone for another night. But, getting possession. Usually, if you treat people well and you speak to them and you give them options, you usually work way out of it. I've got another investor, interestingly, that belongs to the group that I'm funding, and we've got like 20 of these going in the Rust Belt. He bought 16 houses from a retired landlord as a package that I financed that we're doing slow flips on. It's created an enormous amount of cash flow. And there was the squeeze. The value add was that we didn't do any repairs. We sold them on owner finance. We created cash flow. And for him, he has nothing. We're all in like 435 grand. He's out in zero and has created thousands of dollars a month for cash flow. So he's like, how many more of these can we do? He's using 5, basically. Yeah, exactly. So we bought a group package deal of 60. We paid like 25 grand a house, and they weren't beat. They all had tenants, and the landlord was just tired. He did a mailer for us for people that own a bunch of houses for a long time.
These exist in Georgia too. Like if you just get on Zillow, if you go to Macon, you'll notice there's probably 10 or 15 houses that are 50,000. But what that tells you is not that those are the houses. It's that if I run marketing for off-market houses, if they're listed at 50,000, there are off-market houses there that meet this category that you probably could pick up for about 20, 25.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do a mailer, I'll just make it real easy. You order a farm and say, look, I want houses that were entitled to estates or that have been owned, gifted, that people have owned for more than 10 years, that, no mortgage or mortgage under whatever, 20 grand. And just write them a letter and say, hey, I'm interested in your house. I'm looking for a house in the area, whatever. I'd like to make an offer on your house. Just give them an offer. Walk Google down the street and just send them a written offer for 18 grand, 20 grand. I got a call today. My buddy, my Tucson buddy, he called me. He goes, man, I need to borrow some money. I'm like, what's up? He goes, man, I made an offer that was so stupid low, but the guy actually accepted it. He goes, man, that was embarrassing. I was afraid to make the offer. It was 38 grand. He goes, the guy accepted. He says, when do we close? So these things work. Yeah, so the added squeezes here, experienced contractor knows how to fix stuff, which always makes me feel better. Those of you that know me, I'm not good at tech. I'm terrible at fixing. I'm good at numbers and spreadsheets. I'm horrible at fixing. He's got a home base up there. My buddy lives in Tucson. We did, 22 houses there or something, but he lives there. He's got a team. So it made it your chances of success are a lot better. It's an area that's still growing. There's not much inventory. There's not many people doing this, right?
Correct, yeah.
I mean, it'd be
We're
great.
the only ones doing it up there.
Yeah, so I mean, there's still places today, you can buy a house for 34 grand and no one's looking for that house. And if you are down here, you can probably raise all the capital you need just in this room. So money's not the holding factor, Any other thoughts on this one?
No.
Good?
And the
Pretty
thing
good.
is,
Go ahead.
if you're part of the group, they have booths in the ground everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to be in the state where you want to buy. You don't have to.
Right.
Just send a request. Say, hey, I'm buying here in
She's talking
Montgomery,
about-
Alabama, or Illinois, or Arkansas.
So what
And
she's
then
talking
people
about
just,
is there's
hey, I can help you.
the guy that wrote this book, Scott
Yes, I know.
Jelnick. I've never met him, but he seems like a pretty good guy. He started some coaching, all the usual stuff people do after they write a book, right? Sell you more stuff, but his stuff works, and he's a pretty good guy from what I can tell. So he started a private Facebook group, which I think is free to join, right?
No. For initially, yeah, but if you want to be part of a group, you have to
There's some
purchase. But the
eventual.
thing is, they teach how to raise capital.
Yeah.
They teach how to be wholesaler. They teach how to be,
He's got a lot of education, but so they've got a group there, and they have sub chapters of people doing it. St. Louis was a hotbed for a while because he was there. He was in Virginia for a while. I don't know where he is now. I don't follow the guy.
Virginia still.
But that's the strategy. So, questions about this one?
Adam, explain to the people about contract for deed, what it is and why it's better than having a traditional mortgage.
I don't know if it's better in this
Well,
particular
it's-
situation in Maine. I think it was.
Like his maintenance, this is Maine, right?
Correct, yeah.
All right, and is it a mortgage state or a deed state?
Mortgage.
I believe mortgage.
Okay, so you probably got a right of redemption on the foreclosure side.
It's a blue state, and the laws aren't as favorable as Alabama or Georgia or something.
Okay. Alabama's a mortgage state. This is wrong.
But easy to foreclose in.
Yeah, you're right. Redemption. But what I was getting at is the cool thing about this is it's like holding a car title. It's like after you pay the last payment, you get the title.
We kept the title in our hand.
But he controls the title.
Yeah.
And so you basically just file an eviction if they don't pay.
Correct.
So that's the cool thing about it. That's the reason I wanted to.
As long as it's not.
A lot of lawyers in Georgia don't like that.
Right, because it can lead to a civil matter, not eviction court. Also, what was I gonna? Contract for deed. I lost my train of thought. Some states like them, some don't.
It's also easy to foreclose in Georgia.
If Georgia's really easy.
That's the reason I was asking if it was a mortgage or a deed.
Yeah.
Oh, what I was gonna say
I
is,
just have to double check on that, Gary. I'm not 100% sure.
if you've ever done a VA mortgage or loan or bought a VA home, they do contract for deed. all VA loans, the VA owns the deed, you don't get it till you pay it off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all VA's contract. That's what. So it's not that uncommon. VA does it, just slightly different, the same year. Cool. Well, thanks, man, for sharing. Appreciate it. So we're winding out. So this is one I'm in the middle of doing. This is in the North Philly area. It's in the Lehigh Valley. It is a self-storage. Yeah, I figured you'd wake up by now. It's an old, ugly building, basically. Expensive and ugly. It was an old textile mill.
Yep.
Ring a bell, Berkshire? What was Berkshire's very Buffett's first purchase ever? Where did he get the name from? It was a textile mill. And he kept the name. So what was going on here was a very, very seasoned operator lives in the area. They own a whole bunch of self-storage. They control the market. They don't have this piece. Some guy bought it, converted 2 of the floors to storage, and he's full. The other 2 had various tenants, machine shop, a photographer, beautician, hair thing, whatever. And so the plan was to convert it all to self-storage. So they were going to add I'm going to get to those questions in a second. Loading dock, and the interior conversion was going to be like this. So a lot of self-storage nowadays is a thing. You ride the elevator up and you get in and it's all interior. So that was the conversion. They had a really good renovation. They were going to evict whoever they needed to or buy them out. They're going to fix the exterior, replace the elevators. They had a whole bunch of plans for it. Add additional cameras, HVAC system, sprinkler. And then they're going to add storage units to floors 1 and 4 and replace all the signage. So it was a pretty big project. The acquisition budget, the numbers, everybody wants the numbers. These are actual numbers. Bought the property for $2 million. Total acquisition was $3.3 million. And it had a big construction budget because we're repurposing the floors. So it was going to be very expensive. It was 4,500 brick, local operator, off-market deal. They went to them and said, hey, we'd like to buy the building. And they had plans for it. Purchased 362. So they got a bank loan for 2.6. I brought in the down payment money, 1.23 million. So I'm a partner, but I didn't have to go on the loan. I didn't sign for it. I didn't personally guarantee it. The bank knows about it. I'm an investor. We created a special purpose entity, an LLC. I own 65% of the LLC, but they're the operator. Typical syndication, if you've ever syndicated. The repair budget was $1 million and change. The value add was they're already operators. They're adding one more piece. And there was going to be, the plan is to convert the other floors, get it all leased up, sell it with all their other all the other stuff they hold. They want to sell it to like one of the nationals. So that's the plan for it. Get it up. When it's 85%, somebody's going to want it because they have like 30 of these they can bundle up. So I was lucky to get in on it. So I JV'd with a very seasoned partner in self-storage. The exit is to bundle it with their other units and sell it to a much larger operator. So the gist of the deal, no cash flow. So there's $1.2 million or we're getting nothing year 1. If you're used to 10% on your money, you're giving up, 6 figures. Year 2, there's a little bit, but I'm getting an 18% preferred on what I'm not receiving. So I get my money first when the money's there. And there's a big payday. We're estimating about 2.3, and it's totally passive. I've never been there. They call me, do you want to go to the closing? Where? I'm good. I'm good. I'll just wire the money if you all DocuSign me. I'm good. So I was totally passive. I'm getting a 65% split.
So you're getting 18% for the full duration that you own, you're just not getting the cash flow?
Until the cash flows, until I start receiving. It is projected out to year 10. I'm not going to bore you with it, but here's the gist of it. Year 1, year 2, eventually there is cash flow. But year 5 is when we're going to sell it. We project, and these are pretty conservative and we think very accurate. because they're already in the market. So this isn't like, I hope. And they're gonna manage this unit. They already managed like 30 of them. So year 5, there's cash flow, but I don't care about that part. The sale proceeds are gonna net 2.8. So $1 million, 2.8 out. I get 65%. I'll let you bang the numbers out. Cash on cash is pretty good. Pretty good. And we're conservative. I think it's gonna be better. The rest of the story, what's interesting is the other tenants just left on their own. So we're ahead of schedule on the renovation plan. They just figured, okay, this movie is not gonna end well. We may as well just leave. We didn't have to buy them out. Several of the tenants voluntarily left early. Great. We offered some incentives, but a lot of them. So that was
due
the deal.
to construction noise.
Yeah, and just it's, I mean, if I know I gotta go, I'd rather leave on my terms and find a place now, right? Rather than all of a sudden I'm at the end of my lease. I can negotiate a better deal with more time, use time to your side. So that's the gist of that deal. It was a big deal. I mean, I'm not looking to go out, but basically I created a one-person syndication. Most deals like this are syndicated for $1.2 million or whatever. I didn't want partners and just one-on-one. So I just said, well, forget the syndication. I'll just do it with you. So, questions?
I have a question.
It was in my 401k if you're asking that.
My question's about, you're involved in lots of different deals. I'm thinking about the mobile home deal in Eatonton and this one.
Yeah, I'm a deal junkie.
You have a finite amount of time.
Right.
So why would you choose to invest in mobile homes in Eatonton versus larger syndications or larger commercial deals?
So good question. You'll see a pattern to my strategy or my madness. I always deal. That's why when I go to a meeting, I never say I'm a lender. People, I'm there. There's a lender. There's a lender. I'm not a lender. I'm looking for seasoned people to partner with on deals that make sense. So a lot of it is I'm betting on the jockey. I'm always on the lookout for good jockeys. It doesn't matter how big, how small. Like when I met Adam, I'm like, oh, you're a construction guy. Great. What do? You buy real estate? Oh, cool. I like you already. Let's talk some more. So I'm looking for the jockey. This guy was exceptional. The guy that is doing this deal. Very few people. I met this guy. Brilliant. Runs numbers, conservative, high integrity. And I've known the guy for a long time. I wanted to get in on one of his deals. So he syndicates every once in a while. So diversity is one reason. Do you want to put $1.2 million? How many more deals do you want one deal $1.2 million in? So it's nice. The 5 deals, interesting question, and I always share all. The 5 I have here is about $1 million round numbers. This is about $1 million too. So it's on par. It's not like, but that's spread out over 5 deals in multiple counties with different home styles and different price points from $250 to $289. And it's a lot easier to sell a $250 thing than a whatever thing. They're going to sell it for $5.5 million or something. That's going to take some doing. So financing. They secured all the financing on it too. The other thing is they're all totally passive. The one that way out, out there in Timbuktu, I don't visit it very often. I drove dirt once, and so I'm not involved. Just when you need money, that's great. Send me some pictures. We'll send you some money. So they're passive. There were seasoned operators. They diversified me. I'm in multiple states. That's in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. This is Georgia. One's in Maine. So it shields me from the economic downturn of one area. If like the Lehigh Valley is booming, there's so many distribution centers coming up there. They're just building that corridor for logistics. So it gives me diversity. I know the Northeast is short houses. I know Maine short houses. I do a lot of research. So it gives me geographical diversity as well as price point diversity. And honestly, it gives me something to do. Otherwise, I'm going to have to come up here and go, well, I've heard about these deals. All these other presenters write a book and then show you deals from 20 years ago or someone else's deal. These are all ones that I've been involved with or know people directly. So it gives me something to do. It keeps me out of the house, keeps my wife happy. So does that kind of give you a little insight?
Could you explain the security side of it for you with the JV deal versus being a lender on the deal?
Yeah.
What's your security?
So very different and very good question. This was a much I have a business attorney, they have an attorney. We told the 2 attorneys the gist of what we want to do, special purpose entity. They drew up all the mortgage and all that crud's easy. But the operating agreements where the money's made or lost. So we wrote up a pretty nice operating agreement that had most of the parameters that concern me, concern them. The attorneys hashed back and forth. There's some things they sent over that bothered our side. We struck out some things, asked for some changes. They were very amicable because they wanted it to work too. So the operating agreement was the legal fees. The closing attorney did the usual mortgage. The bank, that was the other thing. The bank had their own documents because this was a bank loan. It was the 52-page special, which I get to see, but I don't have to sign. You know, our loan docs are like 2-3 pages. These guys are like bank loan, construction loan on top of a regular loan. So it was really, so we had a lot of paperwork to it. And I use an attorney. I don't mean a closing attorney. I have a business attorney that I just send it to her and go, here's what I'm trying to do, half hour, not even 15-minute call. Okay, send me what you got. I'll look at it. And then we go back and forth a couple times. She looks out for my best interest, the poison pills or whatever. So on a deal that's whatever, $4 million, you know, if you're not spending $4,000 or $5,000 in legal, you're cheating yourself up front, minimum. You know, $400 an hour, you can do the math. I mean, it's going to take you a few hours. And it's an attorney I've used over and over. She's great. Good questions, man. You had some great questions, man. Appreciate that. Anybody else on this one? So there's self-storage. I like self-storage. Different. Am I a big fan of doing all this? No, I like the numbers. I like the operator. And I can keep to my pursuits of, you know, sucking at fly fishing and other things involved. That's the first thing. My question is, that's great. How much involvement? If it's just some coaching, no problem. You know, if I got to actually go figure it out for you, then what do I need you for? Why don't you just wholesale it to me? Move on. So that's that one. The last one's coming soon. Kerry, come on up. Let's talk about this one real quick. This is our last one, and then we can talk all the Q&A you want. Hang out, no hurry. This is great, man. Being in front of a small crowd, interactive, we can ask questions. This is great. So Kerry, where is this? I don't even know where this is.
So this is just past Luthersville.
I know where that is. I dropped my U-Haul off at Luthersville. When I first moved here.
It's 20 minutes past Noonan.
Okay. I was looking to drop off a U-Haul.
It's still in the path of progress, even though it feels like banjo music.
I got news for you. All right. So what'd you do? You did something over there.
So what started out as the mobile home deal he described, and I think number two or deal 2 or 3. That's what this started out.
I told him about it. I'm an open book. I tell all my friends what I'm doing. I'm abundance all the way, man. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this. It's pretty cool. You want in? So we talked, we met, we had coffee.
Yeah, we looked at mobile homes. I mean, we're going to do it. The problem was I couldn't find dirt at a good price.
And that's the key to this whole
strategy. That is the whole key to the mobile home. And you got to buy the dirt. You got to bet super cheap. Yep. So I found these beautiful lots. It don't look like it now, but this is 5.61 acres. And the problem I was having is the county, which is Meriwether, that I was purchasing this in, you had to have a minimum of 2 acres for a mobile home with with a paved road. If you didn't have a paved road, you had to have a minimum of 5 acres zoned agriculture to put a mobile home.
Paved road as the
On a
main
2 acre,
road,
yes.
or as your driveway?
Main road.
Main road.
So that was the county stipulations to put a mobile home.
So if you're on dirt gravel, you're knocked out of the 2 acre thing.
Yes, but you can do the 5.
So no lot split. Those are
So there was no lot split in this.
Can't do it here because remember I said each county is different. First thing you do if you're doing this place, you go to the county and go, hi, I want to build a house here. Man, what do I need to know? And listen, that's what we
I
did.
spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time building, planning, and zoning. The lady's name is Cassandra. We're on a first name basis. I even got her cell phone. She's wonderful. I treated her to a steak dinner. Here, you tell me what you know. So this started out as a mobile home.
Is that a value add steak dinner to the person that's helping you use that?
Absolutely, because she actually. So I'll get aside. She actually took me because we were looking at lots and we couldn't find the plot lines. She actually took me over to Archives on the courthouse across the street because we were an annex building, and she walked me across there and pulled out the original plat for this land that went back 100 years, and it was like, okay, don't breathe on it. You know, it was like the Declaration Institute. Put these white gloves on, and we're gonna, and that's the way it was. And that's why, and Reggie and I have been, where were we at that one time? And we went and talked to the lady at the county.
Monroe County.
Yeah.
We're bored. We're having lunch. This is how we roll. Monroe County. I'm like, hey man, the county office is right there. We just ate. Let's go over there and talk to him. I've never done anything here. So I dragged him with me. We go to the planning department. But hey, man.
We get like this much of like paperwork, and Reggie and I were just like tag teaming, like, hey man, let me ask her. Right? Yeah, this is great. And that's the way it was. But she was super nice. She gave us so much information. And it's so nice working in the outlying counties versus Fulton and DeKalb, where it's like, what do you
The reason you do that, it's going to tell you yay or nay.
Yes.
And there's a lot of counties like nay.
Yeah. So I was going to do the mobile home, and then found out it was like, this is too nice a lot, but I need to do something with it.
The land costs were too high, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah.
For that model.
Exactly. And when we went home and ran the numbers, and we called Reggie, and it's like, Reggie, this thing just, it ain't adding up. And it's like, what is your number? It's like, here's my numbers. And I think we're like $1,500 off from your number versus mine at the all in. I'm like, this just ain't gonna work.
By the way, that right there is one reason you use an experienced lender partner, because they will tell you, don't do this.
Yeah.
And they'll save you a world of hurt. Because when he said manufactured, I ran the number, this ain't gonna work, man.
Yeah, I was like, this don't work.
I'm just gonna tell you right now, I mean, I won't loan on it because it ain't gonna work. You're gonna lose money. I don't want you to lose money. So we figured out a plan B.
So we figured out, it was like, God, that's such a nice piece of dirt. And
you had emotional attachment to this thing.
You know, I
was like, bag it, move on, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is, but it's a really nice property. So
you can tell.
Yeah.
Whatever they say that.
You know, you got to
it's a
sell it.
really
You got to
nice
sell it,
thing.
Reggie. You got to sell it.
Yeah. Okay.
So we got talking. It's like, hey, we got a buddy that's a builder. Let's see what's going to take to put a stick built on this thing. And so that's what we're doing. So instead of doing the mobile home.
Pause right there. So Nate, the guy, I was hoping he was here because I'd bring him up and we talked a little bit, but he had just done a stick built and flipped it for himself. He'd built a house in Noonan, similar, that might have been it, I don't know if that's his house, and he flipped it. So I knew the numbers. One cool thing, when you have coffee with a lot of people, you learn a lot. And that's what I'm forever doing. And so I knew what he could do. And I said, call Nate, man, before we play.
Yeah, and Keith and I, you know, he built for Keith.
Yeah, he built those duplexes. So you've seen his work. He flipped
so
the house.
Keith was happy with him,
in.
and I've been knowing Nate for a while. So he's a good guy. So I've been knowing him for several years. So I contacted him. We worked out the numbers. I'm like, this will work out. This will work out perfect. And even though new construction's kind of on the decline a little bit, I've got so much equity on the back end.
But your value add is you can build very reasonably.
I can.
More so, and it's still an area with relatively lower inventory.
Yes.
There's not a lot of houses for sale. It's not like, you know, Henry County or some really busy. You were showing, I forget what county, half the houses were being discounted. What was it, Cobb? I forget what he flashed up.
Yeah.
What was it?
Cobb's got like 9 zip codes.
Yeah, I mean, the last one on his slide, 50% of them are being discounted. So I know it's not that.
Yeah. Plus it's in the path of progress, and it's so close. Even though it's out in the country, it is so close to Noonan, Fayetteville, that area right there.
But you're local, Nate's local.
Yeah, I'm local. So we're going to do new construction. We're going to do 1,500 square foot, 4-bedroom.
So that was the other thing. They had a 3-2 spec'd out, and I called them. I said, no, do a 4-bedroom. You get in our business, you get paid for square footage in bedrooms and baths. So don't do a 3-2. I mean, when I was doing spec houses, we were building the smallest 4-2 that looked decent, which was a 1250 4-2. It was an old KB plan we scraped. So I'm like, dude, make it a 4.
Yep. So we're doing a 4-2. It's a ranch. It's on a slab. This lot that I love so much, it already had a graded spot out, so the grading is going to be down to a minimum. So that's
the lot's relatively flat.
How big is the house?
The minimum square footage is for the county is 14.
You're like 16.
1460 or something like that.
You're 16 and
yeah, so we're at the minimum square footage for 4-2 that makes sense.
That
so
makes
we're
sense.
we're about 1,600 square foot.
What your land cost was what? 50?
It was 60 on this, which
so
was
that's
fine.
what. So same deal. He bought it. we did a loan on it, line of credit. The first advance was the 60 plus closing costs.
Mhm.
And then how much is your construction cost for the 1600?
We're gonna be all in around, with the lot cost, probably around 260, 270.
Okay, and what's your exit?
Exit, if in a perfect world, we're gonna list it at 389. And so,
So
even
help
if
me
we
out,
have to bring
Ari. 10% off is gonna disappear off the 380. Let's just say it's 380. 10 off, 38 grand. What's that leave you? Somebody use a phone or a calculator. Help us out here. It's
342.
Three, and then what's your all in?
we're gonna be around 270, so.
So you got some room.
Yeah.
You got some room.
So the exit strategy is plan B is if I can't sell it for price, drop the price. And then, plan C is I'll move into it. I will. I'll move into it.
Well, you have
Permanent financing. So
You'll have a really nice rental if you do decide to keep it.
exactly.
I mean, who wouldn't want a legacy property? Legacy is defined in my world as something that you want to pass on to your kids, right? It's new, it's nice, it's in a good neighborhood, and you want it in your family forever. And so if you got something that's, a good floor plan, affordable, rent well, and it's new, you're good for 20 years. Maybe one AC, maybe a roof, and you're good. You should be. It's got to have granite and all the usual.
Yeah.
Where are you at on the project right now?
We were supposed to break ground a couple of days ago, but I decided to move the lot, the
Site plan?
site plan back about 30 feet.
Why?
Just because this is a nice hill and it's the highest spot on the land, and I want the house to sit on the very peak, but it's still flat. It's a very minor grade, but it's got the best view, and it's like I said, it's pretty much graded. So all we got to do is drive the driveway straight up.
City water?
No, that is on a well because we're out there, but it is on septic.
well
I've already got
septic.
the septic permit.
What's your well quote coming in at?
Anywhere between 10 and 15.
10 and 12 seems to be the right number for Georgia.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's it. Nothing really sexy. And like I said, I talked to Nate today, and the grader is starting in the morning. He was supposed to start Monday, but he didn't show up. But he's
So what's he netting on this thing? 60?
Yeah.
So let's bang this out. We're being conservative. Notice he said 389. I said, well, let's use 380. Market decline thing. So you're borrowing how much total?
Maybe around 2. Well, borrowing, I'm probably going to bring about 30 to the.
So what are you borrowing? Well, what's the total cost? It doesn't matter if you
Yeah, total cost is going to be about 2. I'm thinking around 265, 270.
And what are you netting?
Probably. Well, gross would be.
What's our net? We figured it out. Just 30 seconds. 3 minutes.
68.
Dean, help us out here.
Well, I heard 342 minus 270,
Okay, so what are we making?
so it's like 68.
58?
68.
So divide that back into his cost. That's your return on the project. And we're figured you'll get 2 turns. It'll be a 6 month or less.
Yeah.
So what are we making per year for a yield?
You're the 68.
You notice I'm having y'all run the
divided by
numbers on
270,
purpose.
25%?
Huh?
Is that right?
No,
68
that's
divided by
not right.
270?
What's your money?
No, it's way more.
Maybe 50 for the whole year.
Yeah.
Jared, help us out.
68 divided by 2, 65.
And then times it by 2.
Oh, times 2.
Because we're getting 2 turns on the money. Do you understand the logic why we're done? Because you're getting the money back in 6 months, probably 5, and then you're gonna use it again to do whatever.
51.
51? So right in there, my stuff we banged out was like 52. Here's a acid test in another county, another product type, 51. So we're right there. So let's just say we bumped our heads, it's only 40%. Is anybody mad? I'm not. That buys coffee all day.
And another value add is, unlike rehabbing a house, I'm not doing the work. So, I'm like, looks good, Nate, fix this, and I'm done.
See, that's the beauty of passive investing.
Yeah.
I called Carrie up, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, like, dude, I got a problem. My wife's not too happy with me. What's going on? She wanted to do guitar. I called you about it 2 months ago. You did fiberwood. She's asking me, I'm like, I don't play, I don't know anything about it. You kind of need to move that up. So he called me like 2 days later. I found the perfect guitar here. So, because he's passive, he has time to do that instead of chasing,
And I got the exact model she wanted.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I got it in the car. Honey, I love you. It'll be there. So, so that's this deal. It's just a new construction, a couple of squeezes. You got good financing. You didn't have to come out of pocket a whole bunch of money. You got a good builder that builds pretty reasonably. You're in the path of progress. These are all squeezes. This is all value add stuff.
So is this a single property that you're buying?
This is one. I got the lot next to, I got the lot, yeah, I got the lot next to it under
Oh, did you buy
contract too. I got it under contract, so I got that one.
You gonna do the same thing, rinse, repeat?
Probably, oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, if you're
And-
banging out 51%, you should do more of them.
And the cool thing is, another value add on this is the realtor that found me this, he bought a lot right up 3 miles down the road from this at a tag sale. He goes, he's having a baby. He goes, I just need about $3,000 out of it. I've already talked to Keith gave me the name for an attorney for a quiet title. So I'll be all in for this building lot that's as flat as that table for about $11,000. So
Real good value add. That's
yeah,
even
that's a
better than
really good
splitting
value
it.
add.
That's
And I'll do something with it. Just
So you'll have, like, we're doing 3 of them right next to each other up there. You'll have 2 going, not
Yeah.
simultaneous, but that's a great way to.
very
So
close though.
if you're doing this play, your limiting factor oftentimes can be land. So what some of us do is we'll buy the land and sit on it. You know, if we get a really good deal, we'll split it and not build out the other lot like you're doing, clean up the title, and then build when the first one sells. So you're never really out all of the 260, 270. You're out the 30, 40, 50 grand, whatever the case is, 11 grand.
Yeah.
And then you just sit on it. It's kind of like land banking in a small way. You know, that's how you stay ahead of it. You always have a lot ready to go. And then when you're ready, you just start to build. You can do all your soft costs. You can go ahead and get your county, your permits, your plans, and then just sit. Don't go vertical. So that's another option.
Yep.
Anything else you want to share about this one? It's a good one.
No, pretty much. I mean, that's it. It's pretty straightforward.
So if you keep coming, and I hope you do, you'll get to see progress reports. We'll have
Yeah.
some pictures up here. You kind of, you know, what's cool is for those of you that are going to do the long haul, you can test out our theories on the ones that we're doing. Everything I showed you tonight, Adams is closed, so that was done. Keith's keeping it. But the others, you can kind of say, how'd that work out? Let's see. It'll be kind of fun. Kerry, thanks for sharing, man.
You're
Appreciate
welcome. It's 72, not 68, so it's even better than what we were talking.
72.
Dean, I love you, brother.
You know, the gist of this is not to brag or anything, it's to show you there's some room here. Remember all that time I spent on the correcting market and things are slowing down and this and that? You want to have some room. You want to have some cushion. You know, you don't want to drive it till the light comes on E and then there's no gas station. Get gas with a quarter tank. So some of you know I was mentored by some of the best, Jack Miller and all the other people that taught, Dykes and Pete and Jimmy and so 25 years later, you know, I'm gonna close with this. I think we're good on time. Some nuggets for you, this business. Educate, educate, educate. Even me, I still, like I've been to Wetbox. It's a great class. I may even go back. Bill's a great teacher. He's a fellow Miller student and now teacher. You gotta overcome the fear. So, you know, I mean, the certainty is if you stay at your job, you're gonna be in the same place. You gotta take the plunge and get financial independence somehow. Real estate can make you wealthy, but it probably won't be in your first 5 years unless you're really, really lucky or something. If you work for 5 like no one else will, you can live the rest of your life like most people can't. It'll provide you financial independence. Again, it won't be in the first year or the 5th year. Play the long game. Do deals like what Keith's doing. He's already thinking of his children. They're going to probably own these things. They're legacy properties. Carrie, your kids would probably love to have that beautiful house. At some point, you're going to have a 260 house that's renting for $4 grand. You know, there you go. Oh, that wasn't so dumb after all. You know, flipping real estate will make you a nice income, but holding quality real estate will make you wealthy. For those of you that say, I don't like to hold, well, if you hold the right stuff, I think you'll do okay. You got to let your assets pay for your toys, not your earned income. If you're mortgaging to buy cars or boats or whatever, you're kind of missing this. You go buy an asset and then let it pay for your toys. You know, investing is really a business. Treat it like a business. Keep good books, good paperwork. Power of mentors. I mentioned some of mine. You would never try to climb Everest by yourself. No. Come to stuff like this. Be around people that are doing it, that are willing to help. You got to keep evolving. You know, Even me, I had not done a big self-storage project. I've owned a couple of parks and things, but I hadn't done ground-up development of manufacturing. I'd done it on the stick build. So you gotta always evolve. Try new things. That's how you learn. Always invest in yourself. Y'all have invested 2-3 hours tonight. You invested in yourself. Hopefully it was worth your while. I hope so. And that's my goal. Always grow. You know, if you're not growing, you're rotting like fruit. Once you've made it, remember to keep some chips off the table. Ari asked a really good question about why I did some of the things I did. Part of it is it keeps some chips safer than others. You know, you don't want to put everything. I think one of my mentors said you don't put more than 20% in any one asset of your net worth. And so you can stick to that if I do well. Keep your main thing, man. Don't get sidetracked and run a Turo business on the side or drive Uber or whatever people do, crazy stuff. Keep your main thing. Real estate is it, then work on that. Remember, leverage does cut both ways, so the asset's got to be able to pay for the debt or it won't work long term. Learn to be tax efficient. We talked about 401ks, IRAs. If you're not tax efficient, you're working extra hard. If you got to worry about recapture on everything you do, it just adds elements of complexity you don't need to worry about if you do it differently. The seeds you plant today, you'll reap 20 years. The stuff he's building, 20 years later, they'll still be there. Hopefully someone's enjoying the fruit of it. Hopefully it's your plan. Or the payday from it, they'll do something else with it. Remember, got to leverage your resources. Time, technology, money, your database. You now have a room full of people that know stuff. You can leverage that. And I mean in a good way. I don't mean take advantage of anybody. Like I just asked Richard tonight, hey man, I heard you do saltwater pool stuff. We need to talk.
I did it once.
Yeah, that makes you an expert because I've done it, sir.
So Coach Eric threw on the phone.
Yeah, that's how we learn. You know, we leverage each other. I called Josh up. He told you a story about how we met. And I said, hey man, I'm having a hard time with this agent. I don't think they get it. Would you mind negotiating a couple of these deals for me? I like the way you handle your business a lot better. So I basically fired this agent on a couple of deals and had Josh negotiate. He did a great job. We own more lots thanks to it. Why? Because he was in my database. That's why you want to help people. Give to get. You know, when you help people, then when you call, it's easy. If I call you for something now, it's an easy call. We've already done business. We've done each other, you know, good deeds and services. We're friends. It's easy. It's a lot easier. So plant your seeds now. You'll reap them. Leverage the things you have. Remember, your most valuable currency is time. It's a finite resource. We all only have a certain amount of time. I only have so many Saturdays left to do stuff, so manage it well. This is a big one, the one on the left. The cost of the capital has to align with the ROI of the investments. The stuff we're playing around with was yielding 50%. Can you borrow money at 10? Sure. But if you're paying 30% for your money, it's probably not as safe, right? It's got to align well. So some of these people that are buying 5 cap real estate but borrowing money at 10. I'm not a math major, but that doesn't sound good. Unless you bring a lot of equity down payment, buy it now, which means you're buying. Why don't you just go buy a CD? You know, you get 4.25%, 5%. Why are you buying at Walgreens in the middle of some bad city? Doesn't make sense. So, and then don't buy anything your tenants can't afford. Your tenants can't afford to pay for it, neither can you. Secrets to long-term success. Avoid debt traps, short-term financing. And I think, Dean, the slides should be available. I'm making them available as long as you can get them to you, but feel free. I'm an open abundance guy. Anything you need, they'll either send it to you or I'll send it to you, whatever. Meaning there's good debt and bad debt. Kiyosaki, you know, good debt, bad debt. Bad debt would be high interest, short term, over leveraging, things of that nature, balloons that are due on short notice. Those are all bad things. They're trying to avoid them. Use investing to build long-term wealth. Like, I love what you were buying. You bought 3 self-storage. Did I catch that right?
I'm buying 1 self-storage. I'm looking to buy a second.
The one you buy is in Forsyth, right?
Correct.
Which one is it? I live in Forsyth.
Gray line storage.
Okay, not the one I'm in. I send somebody a check for $600 every month, self-storage.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change
exactly.
that.
Yeah, let's talk, well, I'm not gonna move all that stuff now. And I never go there, it just sits there, you know? So yeah, now that's cheap, legacy asset, right?
I'm looking at it as a 50-year asset.
How many square feet? I guess self-storage people talk a different lingo.
It's 18,000,
And how many units?
104,
And how many occupied?
84%.
You see how he knows his numbers? Notice I'm grilling him on the fly and he knows his numbers. What's your current cap rate?
Cap rate is 8.3.
That's pretty good for now.
Yeah.
What's the value add? What's the extra squeeze or two?
Value add, we're just going to improve the property. It's been a kind of a dog.
Okay. But you're full
I'm a contractor. We're going to go in and clean it up, spruce it up, and raise the rents.
Yeah, raise the rents.
They're
There's
about,
the
they're about
squeeze.
15% under market.
Yeah, so there's the squeeze, improve, raise rent. There's a gentleman, a friend of ours, Brett Vincent, he's not here tonight, but he's really good at value add self-storage projects. He's got a couple of them going, he's got a small fund, and he does a lot of that. And then what's your cap rate gonna be?
I'm hoping it's going to be north of 10.
See, now we're talking, now we're getting to some real money. Now we're just double digit. What was the purchase?
1.2.
That's pretty doable. And what kind of financing, if any?
Yeah.
Okay, but are you gonna do some kind of takeout or not?
I'm talking to some banks, maybe.
What are you hearing? What are the banks offering on self-storage? The road we got,
7%.
was it?
7%.
This one was 6.39. I should have put that on there. And they're doing the takeout. Once the construction's done, it's already in place. They're willing to go along for us. That was one of the things you don't want to avoid, debt traps. We wouldn't do it if they didn't do the takeout. The bank that did, a local bank. That sounds like a pretty good deal.
It is good.
I might as well just have you up here. How'd you find it? Next time, next week.
I found it through a realtor.
Realtor found the deal unbelievable. Was it listed? Unbelievable. Realtor found deal headlines that investor buy? Nah, never happened. Where's the secret sauce there? Was it listed?
Yeah.
MLS or
No, it was listed on Craigslist.
Craig's?
Craigslist.
or Loop? Yeah. Was it on LoopNet too?
Actually, it is.
That's where deals go to die. So how long was it on market?
It's been on market over a year.
So why didn't no one buy it? It's ugly or it's what?
It's ugly.
Were they asking the same or did you just negotiate a really good deal?
I negotiated it down.
What were
They
their
were
last
asking
list
1.7,
price?
I got it for 1.5. And then we're getting some discounts on yeah.
The next nibble is after the inspections, right?
Yep.
So you see, he wasn't afraid. Like my buddy said, I made a ridiculous offer, but they accepted. No, don't be afraid to put offers in, especially if you look at that cycle. Where we are now is a great time to make some really aggressive offers because all they're going to do is, my favorite line is, and I told Josh this on the lots we're negotiating on, just tell them that's great, no problem, put us in the backup position, I'll check with you in a month or two. That's my favorite line. See how you feel about that offer in 2 months. And we got a couple of them doing that, right? Yeah, I'm in no worry. My money's doing fine at Chase, thank you very much. I have no qualms about it, sit there. So understand taxes and compounding. And plug for Ari, he does a calculator class for those of you that haven't taken it or aren't familiar. When's your next one, buddy?
I'm going to be teaching at OREA, which is a convention in Ohio.
Right. Forget that's too far. I'm not here, man. You might know in Ohio.
There's enough interest, we'll make a class.
Yeah, he teaches a really good, is it half day?
Yeah, 4 hours.
4 hours. I haven't been, but I've been to several calculator classes and I know he's good at it. So I would pencil that in my, 6-month window of things I want to attend. I would include Wattbox, calculator class. These are tools that are going to help you. What's that?
I'm going to be in Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great place. I'm just going, that's kind of far, man. It's a great conference, don't get me wrong. They have a lot of good speakers. A lot of my friends speak up there. Make smart decisions about your, what you do. Career, benefits, retirement, 401ks, funding. Like Keith, you funded the heck out of a 401k and then rolled it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was making good decisions about benefits when you were at the company you were with. And you ended up having a big thing to work with when you got out. You gotta take responsibility for your own financial independence because no one's gonna do it for you. If you enjoyed this, you want to hear more, I don't expect you to memorize that, but I don't speak a lot, but this year I decided I was going to give back. So I've done a couple of things. When they put it out, I did a podcast with Rich Lennon, who's a lender guy. We talked about lending. It was pretty good. It was like 30 minutes. A lot of nuggets in that. And then I did a thing for Sunrisers, which is a group of believers that happen to like real estate. And so that was actually a really good one. The Sunrisers has so many nuggets in there. I'm not self-blowing my own horn. There's a lot of times we were able to share a lot. And then Courtney Fricky did a really long interview. She was a speaker here a month or two ago of her and I. We did a long interview of a lot of topics. So if you like this kind of stuff and you're, oh, this is cool, I got time, and you're driving or on an airplane or something, you can check those out. The top one's on Apple podcast, whatever it's called. Apple, what's the podcast thing for Apple?
I think it's called Podcasts.
Podcasts, or it's on Spotify too, and then the other two on YouTube. And when they send it out, or you take a picture of it and you take your link. And that is it. That's all I have for tonight.